am live. Let's take a little trip down memory lane and watch some old shows from the 90s, mostly Rescue 911. Because I found a bunch of these with the commercials, some without the commercials, but some of them with the commercials. And man, it brought me back. So let's go back together. I might throw in some other shows or videos, whatnot from that era, but mostly this is what it's going to be. Alright, let's rewind this one.
This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
When tragedy rocks our quiet world,
hopefully
it reminds us just how much we need each other to survive. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of compassion that knows no boundaries on Rescue 911. We begin early on a chilly winter morning in the quiet suburban neighborhood of Englewood, Colorado. Some of the footage in the story was taped as events unfolded on December 20th, 1990.
Yeah. Looks like a
Me and Mikey and Milton were walking to school.
Who are you gonna play in your basketball game?
Silver. And then I said, let's go on the ice.
Walking up
It'll
6
be
miles
quicker.
to and from school in the snow.
We threw a rock on it, the rock broke. So we figured, oh, it's all right, we can walk on it.
Are you gonna go somewhere this weekend?
This is one kid falls in the ice.
It was just before Christmas vacation. 10-year-old Mike Graves and his friends Milton and Adam lived near the small man-made lake and walked by it every day.
Let's go.
There were still some waterfalls running out there, and even though most of the lake was fairly well frozen, the portion of the lake that they were headed for was fairly thin.
Bruce Hines lived in a house by the lakefront.
Hey guys, be real careful walking on the
I
ice.
said there's a possibility that you could fall in.
Okay.
All right.
And they just kind of looked at me like kids do, like, who is this guy? You know? And I just figured, well, that went right on by them.
We gotta go to Orange. We went
Little
under
did
the
they know
bridge,
they'd be wishing they
and then we
listened.
got onto the shore, because it's really not the best place to walk.
Guess what I got though? Got out of the baseball.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's an awesome game.
I'm gonna go to gym for specials.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Mike going? Hey, Mike,
Mike,
come here.
back. Come on.
Come back, Mike.
Uh-oh.
Don't do
Come
it.
back here, Mike.
Either he didn't hear us or he didn't listen. It was just really weird, because there was a big hole the day before.
Great.
But
Come
he
on,
just kept
Mike.
going.
Come back here. Help! Help!
I'm just screaming for help and thinking.
I can only imagine how
He could
cold that
die.
is.
And then Milton tried to
That
go
would be
get
the
him.
ultimate polar plunge.
It just really freaked me out. Because I had never seen
I'm getting
anything that scary
frostbite just
before.
thinking of it.
When we continue,
On the way.
I will remember those screams as long as I live because I knew we didn't have a lot of time. I just said, God, we've got to help this child.
Rescue 911, sponsored by Vidal Sassoon Ultra Care.
Oh, I
Shampoo,
remember that
protein,
brand.
conditioner, and protective rinse in one. Sassoon Care for salon quality hair.
Change the quality of your hair after just one use.
Brilliant.
changes the entire mood of hair.
Silkia. From Vidal Sassoon, Ultra Care. It has the benefits of a shampoo, conditioner, and
nothing screams 90s like that hair.
Vital because it helps
Every woman
styling stress.
wanted that hairstyle or something similar
smooth,
to it.
A fabulous change in hair quality.
Shampoo, condition, and protect with Ultra Care. Advanced salon thinking, superior salon hair.
Ford Trucks, the best never is. Ford Trucks.
Look, we already make the world's best-selling trucks, but we made our 92 Ford full-size pickup even better with a new design, new interior, new instrument panel, new available power lumbar seats. But there's one thing that'll never change. It's still built Ford tough.
More people are driving the best-built, best-selling American trucks than ever before.
I remember those commercials too.
Chunky. The chunkiest. Tonight, the sauces are chunkiest. Ragu Chunky Garden Style.
A recent university study confirms something that has millions of asthma sufferers breathing easier. Clinical tests showed Primatene tablets help keep asthma sufferers breathing freely for hours. Primatene tablets, with the asthma reliever doctors recommend.
I remember that commercial vaguely. Some of these commercials I remember, some of them I don't remember as much.
Bruce Hines was just getting home from walking his dogs, unaware that two young boys had fallen through the icy surface of nearby Arapahoe Lake and were fighting for their lives.
It was just like an electric trap door had opened underneath them. And I knew that with the temperature that day, maybe 10 to 15 minutes is all that they'd be good for. I was right near the phone, so I dialed 911 and just handed it to my wife as I ran out the door.
As Jane Hines headed outside, Milton managed to find a solid section of ice and climb out. But Mikey could not follow.
We're calling for help! Arapahoe emergency. Hello, can I help you? Okay, you gotta calm down and tell me what's going on.
There's a child in the lake at Arapahoe Lake on Dayton Road.
Okay.
Orchard and Arapahoe.
Hold on, I'm gonna patch you through the fire department. We'll get people going. You need to calm down, okay? Take a deep breath and calm down, because nobody can understand what you're saying.
Right, I didn't even realize you were already on. My husband just handed me the phone.
Okay.
The initial thing that you have to do is take control of the call. Sometimes that means raising your voice a little bit, trying to get through that hysteria and get the information that you need.
Because it's hard to get information if someone's
The ice was so thin
like
that you couldn't even lay on the ice to try to get on your belly and crawl out to them. And the thing that was going through my mind
It's one of those things
was,
that's kind of weird
how long
because
can we wait
it's kind of a
before we put
natural
another person in the
reaction
water
to
try to get 'em out?
freak out a
Do the
bit,
seconds
but
make the
then again,
difference?
you
Is there a
can't freak
minute
out
that's
too
gonna
much
make a
because
difference?
you need to get information
And
to
that
people
was the
who can
scary
help.
part.
How old is the child?
I have no idea. We just looked out and saw two children in the lake. One got out. My husband is there with some other neighbors with a rope.
My specialty in the truck for the dry suit. Anthony, crank up the heaters in the squad.
Paramedic firefighter Brian O'Malley was among those who responded.
We were talking in the firehouse, and I was saying it'd be good to go over that ice rescue training we'd had just recently, to actually do it out on a lake with the ice. And that's about when the tone went off for a child that had fallen through the ice.
I will remember those screams as long as I live, because I knew we didn't have a lot of time. I just said, God, we've got to send them angels. We've got to help this child.
Hold on, I got phone.
Neighbor John Kidney had been taking a shower when his wife told him a boy was trapped in the icy water.
Barbara had my boots there, and she said, here's your boots. And I just couldn't even think about the boots because I was thinking, first of all, I don't have time, and secondly, I'm probably going to have to jump in there.
We'll get you. Hold it.
I was just scared. He's my best friend, and it looked like he wasn't gonna make it.
Hang on. Keep it up. Come on.
Where's your husband? Is he still out there?
Yes, he's out there. They've almost got a hold of the child. He's screaming hysterically, but it's like a couple of feet too far from him to grab.
Hang on, Mike. Hang on. You got it, Mike. Hold on.
Mikey!
Hang on to it, Mike. Hold it. Hang on. Hang on to it, okay?
Mikey,
Come on, hang on to it. We got you, Mike. Hang on to it. Hang on to it, Mike. Hold it. Just hang on. Hang on to it, okay?
He just didn't have the strength to hang on to the pole. He just kept saying how cold he was and help me. And his pleas for help didn't really make it any easier. Anytime your core temperature drops below 90 degrees Fahrenheit, there's a great chance the heart can fibrillate. And when it fibrillates, it just goes into a chaotic spasm, unable to pump blood or sustain life.
The only fire station in the district that had a cold water rescue suit was also dispatched, but they were farther away. To save time, firefighter Mike Butterfield put on the specially insulated suit on the way to the scene.
They need a code response. You might want to go code 3 that direction, yes.
Hang on, Mike!
I was just trying to keep him focused on me and focused on Bruce so that he knew something was being done, because I was afraid he was going to pass out.
Another neighbor, Pat McIsaac, was leaving for work when he heard the screams coming from the lake.
I grabbed my extension cord, 50 foot in length, and my thought was that keep the extension cord out there. It's a lifeline to him. It's a security blanket, if you will.
Just about got him
First
out of
rescue
there.
workers got to the scene less than 4 minutes after the call.
He had all his winter clothes on when he went into the water, and clothes have a way of trapping air pockets and keeping you somewhat buoyant. But all the while, the water's filling up those air pockets and going to become an anchor pretty soon.
There's the footage. I like when they show the news footage.
He has a lot of people on the shore who is rooting him on. He saw a lot of that positive, yes, you can do it, we believe you can do it. And that possibly gave him that extra strength or moments to hang on.
We thought we might be able to get the ladder extended out to the victim and have him grab onto it, because he was still conscious, he was still above the water, which meant we had a chance.
15 feet deep.
Okay, you got the rope?
All right, here's the rope. Wax here, Brian. You got the dry suit. Come on back. Come on back. Come back.
Attaboy, Mike, hang in there, bud.
Come on, you're coming this way. You're doing good.
Grab.
You're doing good.
Come on. Watch your way. Right there for crying out loud. Keep kicking.
His face was just a face of terror.
Thank goodness for the
Once I grabbed him, he
suit.
just totally relaxed. It's like he almost went unconscious.
15 minutes after he fell in, 10-year-old Mikey Graves was pulled from the icy lake.
As he was shaking, he said his jaws really hurt because he'd clenched down so bad. And he was saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." When we got him in the rescue vehicle, we started to dry him off and get blankets on him, and I took most of my clothes off and held him to conserve his temperature. And it was just like holding a block of ice.
Mikey's temperature had dropped more than 12 degrees below normal. He was taken to the hospital where he was treated and released the next day.
I feel like I'm a lucky kid because they kept on encouraging me and
He's very lucky.
They did a lot for me.
Very, very lucky.
I know one thing, I'm not going to walk on that ice unless there's supervision or something like that.
Mikey's mother, Helen, also can't forget.
First thing he said to me is, you know, "I love you, Mom." When I look at him, He's got the sparkle in his eye, and he's the whole barrel of fun, you know. I'm just glad that he's here. I can just, you know, thank God for everybody that was there. You know, if it would have been an hour later, I don't think anybody would have been around.
It's a really nice community to live in because these people don't look the other way. They all got involved. If that child had lost his life that day, I don't think I could have stayed here and been able to look out again on that lake knowing that it claimed the life of a little 10-year-old boy.
He is still the same old Mikey to me. To all the people that helped him, I really think they're the best. Because if they wouldn't have helped him, there wouldn't be a best friend anymore for me.
That's the best part about living in a close community.
Next.
Have a 911 request for police. Video 54, Lincoln Plaza. Subject's been robbed and cut.
Tide with bleach alternative. It's a great alternative. I mean, this is so white. Am I right?
New Liquid Tide with bleach alternative.
I can get this so white, and I'm not even using bleach.
Give it your grungiest. This leading liquid gets it this white, but the Tide alternative is whiter.
This is the whitest possible wash without liquid bleach.
Get out your sunglasses white.
This is your alternative to detergent and separate bleach. Safe for colors. White. New Liquid Tide with bleach alternative. The alternative is whiter.
I guess what commercial was this for? Old Spice? Yep, I was right.
Crisp, clean, Old Spice. It puts the wind in your sails.
It's gone. But it isn't.
Vicks introduces an incredible new cough drop.
It's gone, but it isn't.
A cough drop so powerful, it keeps on working even after the drop is gone. It's extra strength Vicks, a new kind of Vicks with twice the Vicks Vapor Medicine to relieve your cough and help your scratchy throat and stuffy nose feel better, even after the drop is gone. New extra strength Vicks, extra strong to work
even after it's gone.
These are remarkable cars, and I've left all this space to show you why. First, Dodge Spirit and Plymouth Acclaim are the lowest priced 6-passenger cars in the world, even with an airbag and all the goodies you see here. But okay, you want to spruce it up, so you start adding options: air, automatic, 4-speaker stereo. When you're through, you'll find that Spirit and Acclaim, with all this, are still the lowest priced 6-passenger cars on the planet.
Now, drive for the gold with up to $1,000 cash back on select cars.
How so fast? I could turn out the light in the bedroom and be in bed before the room got dark. I like a full-figured lady like you, honey. That way, if we lose the house, we can live in your bloomers. Well, when you're knocking on the gates of heaven, you better stay on good terms with the doorman.
Bill's neighbor picked a fight. He didn't know Bill was getting it all on tape. He knows now.
Oh, I remember
Fighting
this.
Back. 48 Hours returns Wednesday.
I remember when that happened.
The designated driver plan only works if you plan ahead. Before you go out, decide who's going to drive and stick to that plan. The designated driver doesn't drink.
I remember there was a plethora of PSAs like that in the 90s. It could be about anything. Now there's some, but not as many as there used to be.
Bedford, Indiana, 8 p.m.
Video 54, proprietor Troy Salee was leaving and locking the front door.
Any chance we still run a video?
He convinced Troy to open the door and allow them to come in to rent videos.
Bad idea. Bad decision.
3 of the men accompanied Troy inside.
Hey, what you got over here?
Look, see what you got.
Yeah, that's right here.
Once inside the store, one of the men told him that this is a robbery.
Give me your key.
Oh shoot, didn't mean to do that. And I knocked it all the way back. Alright. There we go. Stuff like this is why a lot of places, they don't let just one person close. It has to be at least 2 people. A lot of convenience stores, retail places, they're very strict about that now because of incidents like this.
Three of the men accompanied Troy inside.
Hey, what you got over here?
Look, see what you got.
Yeah, that's right here.
Once inside the store, one of the men told him that this is a robbery.
Give me your key. Open the register. Hurry up! Let's go. Come on. Get in here.
I'll be up front.
Trash behind your back.
Tilt your head back.
Tilt your head back. Ah!
At 8:15 p.m., a call for help came in.
Hey, bud. This is Troy up Video 54. Yeah. I've been cut up. I've been robbed. How many help you, man?
Troy Slee?
Yeah.
I got a 911 call from a subject which I knew to be Troy Slee. I'd known him for quite some time. It was a little strange coming from somebody you know, but the first priority is, of course, you know, do your job.
Okay. You got my neck.
Wow. That always amazes me when I hear this segment. This man was cut pretty bad, but he was able to get the information across.
The officers were going to be on the way. Told him not to hang up, and at that time I put on the ambulance service.
Even down to the car, description of the car and the suspects and everything.
In a second, because they cut my neck. Cut your neck? Yeah, so hurry. Okay. I'm not going to make it if you don't get here. Contact number, please. Okay, where's the...
Dispatcher Brian Turpin put out a call over the police radio.
Okay.
131 Bedford.
31.
Have a 911 request for police. Video 54, Lincoln Plaza. Subject's been robbed and cut.
Ambulance service is en route.
Contact number, please. Fuck me, my motor. They cut me up with a... Okay, I'll send them on their way. Please hurry.
Ambulance service hung up, and so did Troy. I tried to call back, nobody answered, so I locked him in on our 911, so all he had to do is pick up.
The shift commander on duty that night was Police Officer Ken Bell.
As we entered the parking area, Mike Ragsdale, my senior patrolman, went to the front of the store, and we cruised through the lot checking to see if anybody's running away that might be involved in this robbery.
Officer Mike Ragsdale headed for the front door.
3133, front secure.
I looked around in the building through the door and windows, and I couldn't see anyone.
The door was locked.
You're hyped up, you're trying to get everything you can, and you can't get any information if nobody's there.
Hey, this is Troy.
Yeah, where you at, Troy?
In the video store.
They're out front.
I can't help it, man. I can't get out of the office.
Well, okay, you're in. You can't get, all the doors are locked.
Wait, single, stop. Well, okay, stop. 131 Bedford.
I heard the phone drop, so I don't know if he's okay, if he's fell down, if he's passed out, or what's happened.
131 Bedford, second 911 call. Subject advised. He is in the office area.
Good, how are you?
A few seconds later, I saw someone walking out of the back room towards the front of the store.
To make it.
31 Ava said you're coming out. He's down. I need us.
I knew Troy personally, and I thought he was a dead person at that point in time. I think I semi-panicked, and the only way to get into him was to break out the door and go ask, and we were not having any success, even at that. 33 Bedford, send me a fire unit down here. So at that time, I called and asked them to send a fire unit there.
Officer Ragsdale called me from the front of the store, and he advised that he needed assistance. The subject has collapsed on the floor. I stepped over the curb and looked inside, looked like he soaked blood, and wasn't moving at all. He was just motionless. My adrenaline was really pumping, and I thought time was against us, so I told Mike, just stand back, I'll get us into the store.
Good old-fashioned break it with a car.
Cover. Mike, cover me, okay? Joe, cover Mike. He was just laying there lifeless.
Bedford City Police, Ken Bell.
I shook his shoulder. I said, can you hear me? I got nothing out of him.
Police, Bedford City Police, Ken Bell, can you hear me?
I took my hand, I put down to his neck. When I did, I could feel warm blood.
Yeah, I've seen
His neck back
Matilda.
a little bit, and it looked like his neck had been slit from ear to ear.
Ken Bell applied pressure to Troy's neck to try and stop the bleeding.
This is Ken Bell, can you hear me?
I kept looking at him. I said, can you hear me? This is Ken Bell. Can you hear me? And he opened his eyes. He said, Ken.
Listen, lay still, all right?
And he looked at me and he said, am I going to die? And I said, no, the ambulance will be here in a few minutes and they're going to take care of you. In my mind, I thought he was going to die. But I didn't know how to answer him. I said, Troy, I need to ask you some questions.
What is that, Troy?
He said, will you promise me something? Promise me you'll catch these guys that done this to me.
When we continue.
Once I had the information about what had happened, my thoughts were we were dealing with some very ruthless and gruesome men.
Excuse me. Don't mind if I do.
These are good.
Hey, save some for me.
For over 50 years, early California olives have been so firm, so delicious, they disappear right before your eyes. Early California olives, the perfect olive, is a tradition with us.
I like olives
the
on
only thing that
things, but
tastes
not really
better
by
than a plastic
themselves.
pickle is another plastic pickle. Plastic pickles, the taste you can count on.
Do you have a cold?
Yes, I do.
Here's 2 cold medicines. This relieves these 3 symptoms, this 9. Choose one.
9.
You chose Dristan Cold over Sudafed. Try it.
The Dristan really worked.
Dristan, the face of relief today.
I'll put you next to Ted.
Now, when life turns up the heat, there's Degree antiperspirant. Because it's body heat activated, Degree turns on extra protection when you
Hey,
really
you
need it.
don't really want to be
Degree,
smelling
your
bad
body
on your
heat turns
first
it on.
date or in someone's wedding.
Rescue 911 will
You
continue.
really need deodorant then.
Freeze! She was convicted and jailed.
I'm innocent.
The true story of a woman behind bars.
I'm watching you.
Fighting for freedom. Cheryl Ladd locked up, a world premiere next.
Good grief, they're back.
Trick or treat.
Charlie Brown and the Peanuts Gang and the Halloween treat you've been asking for.
There he is.
It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, 8:30 Wednesday.
A nightmare at 20,000 feet.
Pilots had a heart attack.
And a woman who has never flown before must land alone. A special Friday Rescue 911.
This is CBS.
Well, come on, let's go to Acapulco. Let's go to Acapulco. Come on, let's go and do it up and again and again and again.
New Fajitas Fantásticas from $7.99 for a limited time only, and only at Acapulco Restaurant. Come on, let's go.
For a limited time, the answer
All right,
is
awesome.
yes, definitely yes, because it's Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai clearance time, with big rebates on every 91 XL in stock.
Can I use the rebate for my down payment?
Yes, ma'am.
Take my trade-in, too?
Yes, sir. And it's the best time to deal all year, because the 91s have got to go now.
What about
That's
the price?
funny, because
Who
I'm
could say
usually
no to
comparing
this?
other people to her.
Year-end clearance time only comes once a year. For special savings, see your Hyundai dealer now. It's Hyundai clearance time.
So is it a smart time to buy?
Yes.
An aircraft emergency drill becomes an emergency. The story at 11.
When police officers found Troy Salee lying on the floor of his video store, he was bleeding to death from multiple stab wounds suffered during a robbery. Police officer Ken Bell was doing anything he could to try to keep Troy alive until paramedics could get to the scene.
Troy, we're gonna need your help on that, all right? Can you answer some questions for me?
I said, we have no witnesses but you. You've got to stay with us. You've got to give me some specific information.
Just lay still, okay?
From that point, it seemed like everything just slowed down.
Need your help.
You're welcome.
Can you tell me what happened?
I asked him how many were there, and he said there was 4. One of them had a gun, one of them had a knife.
Okay, listen. Troy?
I said, can you tell me anything about him? He said, well, one of them stayed in a car.
What kind of car was it?
I said, can you tell me anything about the car?
It was a silver car, you know the year?
I knew that'd be important, because if that was their escape vehicle, then we'd have to have a description of the car.
What was it, a 78 Chevy?
78 Chevy Malibu.
Okay, 78 Chevy Malibu. Is there anything? Think a minute, all right?
I said, can you tell me anything about it that might help us identify it right away? And Troy said, yes, it's got a temporary dealer plate in the back window behind the driver. And I was just amazed that this man is laying here with all these stab wounds in him, and he can sit there and give me this information.
We're gonna be, the EMTs are here now. Here comes the ambulance, all right?
One of the first paramedics on the scene was Sherry Hansen.
He had multiple stab wounds. After we hit about 20, we stopped counting.
Wow.
We also found a sucking chest wound. It was an indication that he had a puncture into the lining of the lung. Okay. Got a non-rebreather going. Need you to fight, all right?
Detective Commander Paul Endress arrived and took over the investigation.
Once I had the information about what had happened and I saw all the blood inside the store, my thoughts were we were dealing with some very ruthless and gruesome men.
Without a doubt.
Go ahead, get it. Get what you can.
If they were able to do this to
Stab him
Troy,
that many
what would
times
they do to
and
other
cut
people?
his throat.
We needed to get them, and we needed to get them
Oh,
fast.
that's just...
I need another trauma.
That is
Told me one guy, the guy that did the stabbing.
insane.
Can you describe
Ken relayed the information gathered from Troy back to headquarters.
Turpin, this is Major Bell.
And the most amazing thing is him being able to still give a
to the other
description to the
communities,
police.
so everybody, north, south, east, and west, get the communication. Requesting to investigate reference armed robbery occurred in this city approximately
30 miles away in Brownstown, Lieutenant Paul Starr was on routine patrol.
I'd been there about 6 or 7 minutes, and a gray Chevrolet with a temporary license plate stopped at a self-service service station. At that time, I called my dispatch and told them this is possibly the vehicle in question.
25236, would you get over Bedford Police Department and see if they can...
I called my dispatch and asked if one of these individuals in his car had on a white or a light colored shirt.
Hold on, I have an emergency call.
Dispatcher Brian Turpin confirmed that one of the suspects was wearing a light-colored shirt.
Clear 36.
I said, okay, I have this vehicle in observation.
Back up.
36-25-3, I believe this is a suspect vehicle. You might give me some backup started this way.
When Troy's parents, Marge and Bob Salee, showed up at the scene, officers would not allow them to enter the store.
I figured they wanted to keep me out of there because there was no life left in him. I was just paralyzed nearly. It was an eerie feeling.
I did not let go of his neck because we thought that possibly he had gotten into the jugular vein. So I requested that dispatch contact the 2 surgeons and have them into ER stat.
I got where my lights would shine in the back window of the car, and the individual on the left rear had a long dangling earring.
253, would you contact Bedford again?
So I got back with my dispatch, and they confirmed that yes, one of these individuals did have a red T-shirt and a long earring. I stayed with the vehicle, and we were getting close to a government housing project. So at this time, I said, best get me some help as soon as you can. If they get out of this car and get in this project, we're in for a shootout.
This vehicle is headed for the Blue Apartments. Better give me some help up here as soon as possible. They get inside, we're going to have trouble.
I
At
sometimes
Bedford
read the
Medical
comment
Center,
sections
Troy's
and
mother
stuff.
finally got to speak to him.
He was worse than I thought he
Probably
would
looks
be.
like I'm bored, but I'm
I
not.
kept saying to myself, you can't cry. You know, I thought if he sees me crying, he's going to get all excited about this. I just stood there and I said, you're going to make it. And he said, I'll make it. And then he said, I love you guys. I kind of thought, you suppose that's the last time he'll say that?
They pulled into the
Here's where they
project,
catch the guys.
pulled up to the curb, and the vehicle stopped. The back doors of it opened. By this time, I was out of my patrol car.
Stay in the vehicle. Close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. Close the other door, I'll blow it off.
Dang. He is not playing.
I was thinking to myself, I hope they don't get out, because if they do, I'm in trouble.
Looks like it's a different car in this part of the reenactment than it was in the first part. Must have not been up for long because I didn't get notification for it. But then again, sometimes comments like that end up in my review first or something like that.
We found not only the gun
But
used
I'm
to
not
hold
worried
on
about it.
Troy, we also found the knife used to cut Troy's throat in the back seat.
Though I
We
admit
found
it'd
the
probably be
billfold
funny to
stolen from
read.
Troy.
Also found in the car was evidence linking 3 of the suspects to the kidnapping and murder of a young woman in Kentucky. All of the men are currently serving long-term sentences at Indiana State Prison.
The apprehension of the suspects was successful,
Wow, not only did they
because
do
of
what he
the
did- they
cooperation
did
of
to
all
that guy,
police
but they-
agencies in the area,
they
but
killed
also
a
because of the
woman before
heads-up
that.
play of Troy.
So it's not their first rodeo.
Troy Silly not only
Good
survived,
thing they're locked
but
up.
has completely recovered.
Or were, whatever
What
the
kept
case
me
may be.
going
It was like
that
30
I'm real
something years
intense
ago.
and wanting to be able to catch guys that would do this to somebody. I knew the only way I could get back at him if I stayed alive.
Everybody said, well, you'll have to sell that video store. That kid will never be able to go back in there. And he was chomping the bit to get back in that video store. I think he's fabulous.
I was a little edgy going back in at night and stuff, but I
I
wasn't
wouldn't
gonna let
blame
4
you.
guys ruin my rest of my life.
I think the paramedics and the policemen did a fantastic job. I don't think there could have been any better. They were there real quick, and I feel like they're the reason he lived.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
For a team to act like that,
Not
to
only to
respond
help
like
him
they did and get me to
get
the
the help he
hospital
needed,
and
but
take
to
care of
catch
me,
people.
I think they
They
deserve
did
a lot
that.
of credit.
Didn't take them long
I
at
owe
all
them
to
my
catch
life.
those guys.
Next.
You just want to do your best because here is someone's child and they need you, and you want to do everything that you can and that you've been trained to do.
Next, the champion who likes to be alone.
Once you've tried something like this, you just don't go back.
After Johnson & Johnson created AccuView disposable contact lenses, there was one thing left to do.
If they would give away a free pair, everyone would wear these.
So we did.
It's comfortable.
Just put them in. Boom, they feel great.
You don't clean them.
Visit your eye care professional for an exam, and if AccuView is right for you, you'll get a free trial pair.
That's all it took from me. Just to put them on one time.
Oh, it was just my watch. Reminding me to stand.
Austria hopes its
Like I haven't been
talented
doing it
Alpine
all
World
day.
Cup champion Petra Kronberger will bring home perhaps as many as 5 Olympic gold medals. When Kronberger is not competing or listening to the shrieks of her fans, she prefers being off by herself where she can absorb the beauties of nature.
AccuView, sponsor of this Olympic profile and the Winter Olympics on CBS.
That was
If every dog in the world were a
1992,
puppy,
I
all
think.
we'd make is puppy chow. But they're not. That's why Purina makes a complete line of nutritious dog foods. Pet tested, veterinarian recommended.
we've added the leading cough suppressant to the
there's
proven
no
cold relief of
description.
Alka-Seltzer
Sometimes it
Plus
says
to
in the
relieve your
description
cold and cough
when
at
this
the same
originally
time.
aired.
New Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and cough medicine in the purple box. 2 kinds of relief from only 1 medicine.
You came, I was alone. I should have known you were temptation.
The tempting taste of McDonald's alluring quarter pounder with cheese. Add fries and a Coke for an irresistible deal. The extra value meal at McDonald's today.
Temptation, I am yours.
I remember it used to be for a while. It was what you want is
Carol
what
is
you
back
get
on
at
CBS.
McDonald's today.
So accept no substitute. Mambo! Now it's time to stick with an original. It's the hottest music. And the brightest stars.
My new very best friend.
It's him! Get the message? The Carol Burnett Show premieres Friday at 9.
It's a shameful truth that our country has one of the worst infant mortality rates of any industrialized nation. Last year, 1 out of every 159 babies in the United States died within the first 4 weeks of life. This story is not a recreation. It's the reality of life at the University of Cincinnati's and Children's Hospital neonatal facilities for newborn babies who need critical care. A 7 months pregnant woman is being rushed to University Hospital.
Baby girl right here. A baby girl. Where is she?
There have been babies born from millions of years before there were physicians to help in their care, and many of those babies died.
Here, pink and breathing and crying. Just show me the way. We got a baby. Here she is.
Call PEDS. 333, call PEDS.
Okay. There you go.
The 3-pound, 2-ounce girl was 7 weeks early. But though born in an ambulance, this premature baby was lucky enough to have no major problems.
That baby just wanted out of there.
The next night, 18-year-old Heidi Sawyer is in the advanced stages of labor, 2 months before her due date, with her mother, Kathy McCartney, at her side.
When they said they were going to take her right then and there, I got upset.
How you doing, Heidi? Good.
Dr. Robert Jacobson must operate to save her baby.
Heidi's baby was in a breech presentation. That means the butt was first. Because the baby was premature, we would normally perform a cesarean section to prevent birth trauma.
You're doing fine. Lots of stretching to make room for the baby.
Large rich to me, please.
You comfortable? You glad to be able to have someone here with you? You do have a lot of people here. Okay, here comes your baby. Baby's bottom's out.
Oh.
There you go. Right here. The doctor will
They would show everything too. Back in these days, there wasn't much they would leave out.
740, okay? How you doing? Huh? Now, they may be giving her oxygen. You may not hear her cry right away. Okay?
She was pretty blue and actually pretty limp.
Come on, little girl. Come on, babe.
A crying baby is a baby that's breathing, and that's always a real welcome sign.
Come on, babe. You're trying to cry? She's little, but she sounds like she's got a good set of lungs. Do you have a name for her? Yeah. What is it? Destiny Renee. Destiny Renee. Very pretty.
Premature babies will often do well for the first few minutes or so and then develop more respiratory distress. You know that their lungs aren't mature.
We've given you some medicine.
It was really hard because I wanted to hold her. I wanted her close to me.
It's fine now, but it's like
now the pediatricians are going to take her to the nursery.
It does that sometimes.
I didn't know what to think, if she was okay or not.
3 3/4 pounds.
Babies are intended to stay inside moms, where it's a good factory for growing.
Shooting X-ray.
Despite all of our technology, and we're getting very good at taking care of little babies, there's really no replacement for the uterus.
Nobody. I'll be over in a little bit.
Because Destiny's lungs are not completely formed yet, as with most preemies, the risk of infection is great.
Keep an eye on her.
I might be able to do that.
2 nights later, a Children's Hospital neonatal transport team is being sent to a nearby hospital to pick up a newborn baby who's critically ill.
Your adrenaline's flowing, and you just want to do your best because here is someone's child, and they need you, and you want to do everything that you can and that you've been trained to do to save their life. We arrived to find a very sick infant. It was a widespread systemic infection.
When was the platelet?
Before the baby is transported, Dr. Maria Cruz has to explain the one-day-old boy's situation to his parents, Robert and Karen Hirth.
You never imagine it happening to you. You could tell on their faces that it was bad. I mean, you can tell by the way they were working on him that this baby was, I mean, who knows if it was going to live or not.
It's so painful because you can see the parents who love the baby so much suffer through everything.
When we moved him over the isolette, he was like a limp rag. There was no fight to him. He wouldn't flinch. He was going downhill very fast. He definitely needed extreme critical care. I was afraid that, he might arrest en route back.
Ready? It was a pretty smooth turnover, getting him into his own bed.
You have to find out what kind of infection the baby is suffering from so that you know what kind of medication to give to this baby. It's most probably group B streptococcus, and so we start giving the antibiotics, but the antibiotics still take time to work.
The baby's father, Robert, has driven over immediately to be close to his son.
Does he have a name yet?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, that's great. Is this your first?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Well, you're going through a lot.
I think I might have seen that before, but let me
We're
see.
just making adjustments in the ventilator, adjustments in his medicines.
There is such a thing as miracles, I think, in neonatology, and that's why even if we tell the parents the
I think
baby
it
might...
was let's see. I think I did see that before, but I want to... oh, it should be under history, I guess. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, what was it? It was way back here. I think... Alright. I'll just type it in. Car chase. I think that might include that. Police chase. I think. Yeah, this might be it. Because I've seen one that's very similar to it.
Janet! When's the last time?
Bryan Police Department received a tip that Zachary Sharvanka had a warrant and was at the Bryan Walmart. The officer approaches the van. That's Sharvanka in the driver's seat. The van door is open, and his 9-month-old baby boy and 5-year-old daughter are in the van.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
The children's mother is loading the groceries into the vehicle when the officer comes up.
Zach, how's it going? He's running.
That's when the father sped off, leaving his girlfriend behind. The chase reached speeds up to 100 miles per hour.
He's heading southbound on South Main, high rate of speed, juvenile in the car.
The 32-year-old man had a warrant for vehicle theft out of Auburn, Indiana.
I think he blew a tire. We're heading southbound on 127. Be advised, doors open. We're turning right on the first road into past the 15 and 127 split.
As they rounded the split, what the officer did not see is the car seat carrying the 9-month-old baby boy flew out of the van, bouncing multiple times off of the grass. The van door wasn't closed when the man took off. The chase lasted 15 minutes. They decided to end the pursuit because of bad weather. While the father was trying to shake police, he called his kid's mother and told her where to find them.
That's ridiculous. That poor mother.
3620.
Oh my god! Baby boy! Baby boy!
Movie on the curb on 127 at the stop sign with that child.
Mama's got you!
Keep him on the ground, keep him on the ground.
Apparently the kid was out there for an hour.
Highly traveled highway. It took law enforcement an hour to find the baby. The baby was awake and crying. According to a police report, an ER doctor told police the infant's body temperature was extremely low and could have been life-threatening if he was left out in the cold for much longer. The 5-year-old little girl was dropped off at a friend's house. An officer and police dog apprehended the suspect at an apartment complex in Edgerton.
I would have loved to have seen that too. In fact, I think they're...
Excuse me. Play you for those ultras? Well, we're kind of high level.
Let me skip that. Oh. I wish they would have shown the apprehension. That would have been kind of cool.
Am I being held for something?
You are. You were shoplifting.
What am I being held for?
You were shoplifting.
I was shoplifting?
You were.
VP. Ooh.
You work for the Journal, boss? Yep. Yeah, man.
God. You ought to know better, really.
Vice President.
You're out here
It's 7
stealing?
p.m. at a Walmart in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, where one trio has allegedly turned
But I
shoplifting
don't know if I'll be
into a
watching this.
family
This is not
affair.
really
2
the
children
theme here,
seen
but
here were caught on surveillance cameras drinking
I just wanted to
energy
give that
drinks from the
quick
store
reaction.
and stashing the cans on a shelf before trying to leave, according to police. But after officers arrive, they realize the apple doesn't fall far from.
So there's a couple of the videos in here that I wanted to show. This was one. Oh wow. This is well, I'm gonna rewind it back so you hear everything.
In an emergency, every heartbeat is a reminder that nothing in life should be taken for granted. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of lives forever changed by tragedy on Rescue 911. We begin on July 30th, 1989, in the Soratown Mountains, near Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
All right, look at him go.
It's a beautiful sport. I myself didn't want to be up there, but it was amazing just to see what good times they were having.
I'll be up to join you, Jim.
Gilbert Aldrich was an experienced hang glider pilot. During the 6 months he had been dating Nancy Lumley, she had often accompanied him when he went flying.
Whatever he gets into his sport, I was happy just to be with him. You know how girls do when they date guys, they want to please them.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
The only other pilots on the mountain that day were Jim Bruton.
Although I'd say I'd really like
Jim was already
sports and
soaring
stuff,
overhead, so the conditions looked good, and I was in a hurry to
But I always also like
join
being
them.
supportive of those in my life, so I like to see them enjoying stuff, so I support them, whether it's something I'm into or
He had showed me
not.
how to set a glider up, how all the tubes, where they went. And since I had set him up, you know, I did the check.
This one needs a little bit straighter. I don't mind helping you, but you got to cooperate.
Yeah, I'm just
Hang
getting
on.
Okay.
So he holds that glider up, and then he would go over to the launch pad.
Helmet.
Okay.
Hey, babe, watch that tree over there.
All right.
Why is he wearing that helmet?
All right, let's set her down right here so I can look things over.
Okay.
Okay.
Honey, you forgot your helmet.
Yeah, I don't want to forget that.
Oh. Can't reach it.
About that time, a good breeze comes.
Got it.
They always say that you might wait another hour, possibly, before you get that other good breeze.
I'm getting up there.
Yeah, don't waste
So
the
you
breeze.
go for it.
I'm afraid of heights, so I'm kind of scared looking down. Even from the TV. Or in this case, my laptop.
The nose just pointed down. He didn't have any control. Down he went, going towards the trees, just like somebody had shot him from an arrow.
It was after I'd gotten my glider off my truck when I heard Nancy scream.
What happened?
She was telling me that Gil had gone down really quick.
Good. Coming off, we're going off the ramp. See, he's over there in the trees.
I tried to keep Nancy calm while looking for some sign of movement. Since the normal flying speed of the glider is only about 25 miles an hour, I've never seen anybody get hurt by landing in a tree.
Jim, you see Gil's flight?
Looks like he fell out of it.
He's down in the trees. Okay. Go down and land. I'll meet you at the bottom. Okay, I'll go down and get him.
Just about a moment later, I saw somebody not far from the glider making his way down an access road.
Was Gil wearing a white shirt?
He sure was.
I thought maybe the trees had, helped his fall. They said, you go down to the road. By the time you get to the road, Gilbert's going to be standing there waiting on you.
Jim, Doug, and Nancy all headed down to look for Gilbert.
I drove, and I drove, and I drove, and no Gilbert. And by this time, the tears, they were streaming, and I couldn't hardly see to drive, and I thought, this can't happen to us. I mean, I love this guy.
I met up with Jim at the bottom of the mountain. We weren't going to be able to go any further, so we had to hike up from there. We were still puzzled because we hadn't seen him. So as we made our way up, we began to get more and more concerned. The glider would obviously be the easiest thing to see. The main concern was maybe he wasn't able to get out of the glider. When I first saw the glider, Gil was not in it. And then as I moved in just a little bit closer to where the glider was, that's when I had the shock in my life.
Good thing he remembered his helmet.
What happened?
He said I wasn't hooked in.
Gil's over here, Jim.
At that point, the whole frightening scenario of what had happened kicked in.
Don't worry, Gil. We're going to get you out here, buddy. Oh, bud.
He's been laying here for about 45 minutes, hasn't moved, and I realized that to have come down, straight down, as he obviously did, that he must have been going about 60 miles an hour.
Oh, God, it's bad.
He'd lost quite a bit of blood. Was struggling to speak as if the wind had been knocked out of him, and we assumed that he had internal injuries.
All right, I'm going to get you some help. Make sure you can get back to the spot.
Doug ran to the nearest house to call for help. A rescue
Keep in
squad
mind,
from the
this is back
Sorrowtown
way
Volunteer
before
Fire Department
smartphones.
and the Stokes County ambulance were immediately dispatched to the scene.
Hurry, get back. I think he's hurt bad.
When I heard the sirens, I knew then I'm not going to find him up there, you know, just jumping up and Clement running in my arms. He's hurt.
Among those who responded was paramedic Greg Collins.
It's very steep, very rocky, and very rough. We knew it would take at least 30 to 40 minutes to get back down off the mountain.
They were considering whether or not they needed a helicopter, and I asked them to absolutely get a helicopter. I have lost a couple of friends, but Gil's accident was one of the worst I've had to see since I've been in the sport of hang gliding.
Nancy.
I didn't know where Gilbert was alive or dead until he said his first words.
You know where you at? Did you hear me? Yeah.
They were asking him what day it was. And it was Sunday, and he said it's Tuesday.
Wow.
BP is 80/40. They told us that he had an open fracture of his arm, decreased lung sounds to one side, which was indication that he probably had a collapsed lung.
Ambulance up here.
His blood pressure was dropping dramatically over 5-minute intervals. He looked shocky, he was cold. In a day with a temperature around 85 to 90, he should not have been cold. This man was in serious trouble.
You're going to get to ride in a helicopter. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time.
That's right.
I couldn't even see in front of me. I was crying so hard. I mean, he was just as white could be. It was like all the blood was drained out of him. I thought Gilbert was gone.
When the Air Care helicopter got Gilbert to Baptist Hospital, he was barely clinging to life.
2 liters of fluid in flight.
A trauma team awaited his arrival, led by Dr. Wayne Meredith.
He lost about half his blood, internally and externally. And so he was reaching the end of the fuse on his time bomb.
You need to get this tube in your chest. You popped your lung over here, okay?
Okay. You wait all your life for that special someone.
Blood pressure, but we need to take him in the operating room because it looks like his kidney's been hurt pretty bad.
I was going to stick with him. I was going to be right there with him and pull him through this. I knew I wasn't a doctor, but I'd always heard that if a person has love and a person has will to live, you're not going to lose him.
I'm going to be out.
It makes a lot of difference, too.
I love you, darling.
Okay, somebody call the OR. Tell them we're on the way.
Family think the tennis court belongs to the park.
3 months after the accident, I could just barely walk a half a mile. But Nancy was willing to give everything that she had for me.
Gilbert Aldrich underwent more than a year of rehabilitation, including 8 weeks in the hospital with a bruised brain, collapsed lung, punctured kidney, and broken elbow.
Wow.
And I guess I would have fell and been a greasy spot.
He's terrific. Has a little ups and downs with the elbow, probably always will, but besides that, he is back to normal, and we don't even talk about hang gliding.
If he'd been in shock another hour, he would have probably died of infections. The first responders and the pre-hospital group in this case did great. I think they did terrific. And they wasted no time. Time is critical in this situation.
He's very lucky. Not many people fall from the sky and survive.
But he did.
I didn't realize it at the time, but I was addicted to hang gliding. It is so much more awesome than anything else that I had ever done. Everything else fades to that. But the longer I was away from it, and the more I got involved in fun things with Nancy, I realized that I was enjoying life a lot more.
Yeah. Do both of you, before these witnesses, promise to do everything in your power to make this a happy and lasting marriage?
21 months after the accident, Nancy Lumley and Gilbert Aldrich were married.
Doesn't surprise me. She was stuck right by him.
Yeah. That was a long, hard road back to recovery for me, and I had never felt that kind of love and care. I just don't ever want to be without a woman who can love me as much as she loved me then.
Next.
I never thought it would happen that that kind of violence would touch Portia's life in any kind of personal way.
Yeah, I think that's the one where the guy snuck into her apartment or something.
Full-size pickup. But it was always one tough truck, and boy, could it haul a load. Today, it's still tough, but it's designed to ride better.
I like the old Ford trucks like that. I like the new ones too, but I really like the old ones.
Times change, trucks change, but Ford Tough never does.
New Mississippi Mud Pie. Taste why America's best-selling individual frozen
Oh, the hold
desserts
that
are
Weight
comfort.
Watchers had in the
So
90s
indulgent.
over many of
Critics
us.
call Summersby a ravishing romance. Richard
Not
Gere's
really
most
me
passionate
because I was a
performance is
kid.
Oliver the Gentleman.
That wasn't really a
Julie Foster
concern
is
of mine,
extraordinary.
Who is this man?
you would constantly see commercials about that kind of stuff.
Rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
Having a real estate license doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to sell real estate. You have to understand people.
I do a lot of interaction with my clients, and I listen to what they have to say.
The biggest pleasure for me to be able to get them into that house, and they thought I was the greatest thing in the world because I could do that.
There isn't anything any school could teach you to make you care about people. That's got to come from the heart.
Century 21, rated best at customer service.
Life is people, and the more you give, the more you get.
The Ragu chef introduces new Ragu Super Mushroom Pasta Sauce.
There is no such thing as too many mushrooms.
I'm not gonna lie, it
love
looks
mushrooms.
good.
Big mushrooms, little mushrooms. Mushrooms intensify the flavor of the sauce.
He makes Ragu Chunky
He is not wrong.
Super Mushroom with as many mushrooms as these 3 mushroom sauces combined.
I love to look at them, smell them, hold them, count them, put them in my sauce.
New Ragu Super Mushroom.
Extraordinary sauce.
On August 19th, 1991, Pat Douglas was dropping her daughter Portia off at her apartment after a dinner out together in their hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana. Neither of them had any sense of the terrifying events that were about to happen.
I noticed there are a lot of these people that thought this would never happen to them because they live in a small
I thought I
town.
would stop by Portia's apartment to pick up a hat.
But you never can be
that I
too
wanted to
careful.
borrow. As I was sitting there, I noticed a young man looking out the window and kind of pacing back and forth. And at the time, I thought that was rather unusual behavior. I sort of had a mother instinct that something wasn't right about that. But then when Portia came down the steps, I totally forgot about him.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I never thought it would happen that that kind of violence would touch my life in any kind of personal way.
Hi. Portia had been on vacation, and this individual had just moved into the apartments. And he came out of his apartment and asked her to borrow some salt.
Okay, I guess so. Just a minute.
I'm like, don't do it, don't do it. She should have closed the door and locked it behind her. But that things happen, we forget that stuff, so.
911, what emergency are you reporting?
I've just been shot twice.
Shot? Who shot you?
A rapist.
Okay, where are you at now? Okay, let's get you an ambulance on the way. Okay. Stay on the line. Do you know who it was?
No. It was the guy
Okay, Lawrence, we need an ambulance at 7607. Purpose.
Department chief.
She was shot by a rapist.
Twice, once in the head.
You been shot in the head?
Yeah, I'm in the head and in the chest.
Okay, you're in a part.
Marion County Sheriff's Dispatcher Victoria Samuels had only been taking calls for a month.
And God forbid if I die. Tell my mother and my father I love them.
Okay, do you have a
Imagine only
almost
taking
lost
calls
it
for
when she started telling me to call her parents in case she died.
month,
started
and then
giving me a
you hear
message
that
to tell
call.
them, and I thought, God, I don't want to have to make that call.
Okay.
And I bet that's one she probably remembers for the rest of her life.
20. Do you know his name?
No, he didn't tell me. He's downstairs.
Do you know his apartment number?
No. Is the ambulance coming?
Yeah, they're on their way.
Sheriff's deputies and rescue units were immediately dispatched, including Lawrence Township Fire paramedic Jeff Musar.
We had it as a person shot and the suspect was still in the area or on the scene and do not approach. Our fire station's right across the street from the apartment complex where the incident occurred. So we were there within 60 seconds. All we do basically is come in very quietly to the apartment complex and just sit off into a corner until the sheriff's department gets there. Standing by for Marion County.
So is he back downstairs still?
Yes. I stopped breathing. He thought he killed me. But you know what? I've got a window. He could shoot me through the back window. You gotta hurry.
Okay, it's all right. You locked the door. You're doing all right. We've got everybody on the way.
Sheriff's deputy Kelly Hayes was on routine patrol 3 miles away when the report came over his radio.
The minute you hear, someone has been shot, you automatically know that the suspect's not afraid to use a weapon, and we were advised that he was still in the same area, so your adrenaline's pumping.
He shot me in the chest while I was spinning road train.
Have you got the bleeding stopped?
No. No, I'm still bleeding.
Do you have anything to stick on it, like a cloth or your shirt or anything?
My nature was to worry about the medical side, but I had to remember that I'm in a police dispatch, and at this point in time, our protocol isn't to give medical information over the phone.
What kind of a gun was it? Handgun? Okay. Was it a pretty big gun?
And she was breathing real hard, so I was really concerned she would die before they got there.
Okay.
You gotta hurry. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. I know he's gonna be back. He told me he wanted me to go out with him and get in his car, and I said no, and I fought him.
Okay.
Assistant Supervisor Edward Bessing was monitoring the call.
We wanted to get an ambulance to her as soon as possible. We couldn't risk the firefighters' lives because we had no idea what was going on, if he was on a rampage or what he was doing.
Came up to borrow salt. Yeah, we're right around the corner. Oh, yes?
Not very far away.
Oh, thank God.
Do you know if he drives a car, ma'am?
He said he wanted me to go out and get his car with him.
Do you know what kind of car it is?
I was relaying the information that I was receiving to the dispatcher, who was in turn telling the officers in the field.
A newer one? Awesome. Okay.
Oh, my lips are numb.
Also, you have a gunshot wound to the left side of the chest. Patient's experiencing difficulty breathing. 2-minute ETA.
If there's any changes, we'll be standing by for the sheriff. The apprehension and the anxiety of just sitting there waiting is the most frustrating part of it. You want to go in, but you know at the same time, if you go in there, you're going to be part of the problem and probably be shot too.
While officers were en route to the scene, a second call came into the sheriff's department.
Dispatch, do you have an emergency?
Yeah, I heard some gunfire going on not too long ago, and I walked in my apartment, and I found my gun wasn't here, so I don't know what's going on.
What's your address?
It's 7607 Ford Drive.
Okay, hold on just a second, okay?
He just seemed kind of weird. Then after I realized it was the same address that the lady was calling from, just a different apartment, I put 2 and 2 together.
And reported a break-in where the firearm has been stolen. We knew the suspect was now in his apartment. He basically thought the victim was dead. Otherwise, he wouldn't have called in. He would have been up there to finish the job.
Within minutes of the call, officers arrived on the scene.
My main concern was that we've got to approach the situation and get to her without letting him know that we're on to him.
My right arm is paralyzed.
Okay, man, we're almost there.
You've got to hurry, please.
Okay, we're hurrying.
I'm going to end up dying here while you're talking to me.
That's one of us knocking on the door.
Oh, you said Sheriff's Department?
34, is that you said Sheriff's Department?
Yeah. Should I go?
Can you make it? Can you get there to unlock?
I'll get it.
Okay.
To the door.
The Sheriff's Department, come out here in the hallway and talk to me.
What for?
Your adrenaline starts pumping. You start thinking, man, you know, is he going to come out of his apartment with the gun, or is he going to go ahead with the story that, you know, somebody stole my gun?
Let me see your hands as you come out the door.
Probably did that to lure the officers there.
I don't understand. This is stupid. I don't know why.
What I'm going to do is check you for other weapons, all right? Turn around, face the wall.
At that time, the victim that was upstairs with Officer Hayes shouted out something like, you know, get me the paramedics. I already told you it was the guy downstairs. And all of a sudden, his eyes got real big, and he started to turn around and look at me, and I went ahead and handcuffed him.
No.
In 12 years that I've worked in this field, that was probably the longest I've ever had to wait. Just the look in her eyes, I think, told it all at that point, that we knew that we had to move fast.
Okay. Steve, we got a gunshot wound, left chest, upper chest, and one to the right arm.
Her blood pressure was dropping tremendously, and
Yeah, they
we could
show
not
everything
see
back
a lot
in
of
the
blood loss
90s.
on the outside, so we knew we had a lot of blood loss.
They didn't
on the
hold back
inside.
on a lot of stuff.
We had about a 20 to 25 minute ride to the hospital, so we knew we had no time to lose.
Except
With
for
the amount
stuff
of
that was
blood
like
loss that she had and
extremely
her vital
out
signs
there
not
and like certain
showing us
curse
any
words and
encouragement
stuff.
even after a lot of fluids. I had
They
my
were a lot
doubts that she
more
was going to be even
strict
stable
or
enough to handle
lenient
any
about
kind
that
of a
stuff
surgery.
back then, like more so than they are now. Now you can't even say like certain words. You have to make up your
Portia was
own
rushed to the
replacement
hospital
words.
as Detective Sergeant
It's stupid,
John
especially
Tilton,
on
head of the
social media.
investigation, arrived on the scene.
Gotta say unalive and gotta say
Did you go up there tonight?
Yeah, I did.
And why did
all
you
these
go
other
up there?
made up
The
words.
suspect admitted to attempt murder, rape, confinement, and battery.
Upstairs tonight to rape her.
He was convicted of rape and attempt murder in the courts and took 40 years sentence for each charge, which means he'll be eligible for parole at the end of 40 years, making him a 62-year-old man.
Good.
Portia was hospitalized for 10 days, recovering from gunshot wounds to her chest and arm and severe cuts on her head.
She fought him the entire way, and when she saw the second shot coming, she put her hands over her face and then played dead until he left, which in fact saved her life.
Less than a month later, Portia returned to work as an attorney. But the painful memories of that night still linger.
I was terrified, and nothing was as soothing as hearing that operator's voice on the telephone. It was my line to reality, to the world. I do everything 100% now. I play hard, I work hard. I just do everything as if today is my last day. This phone, please. You hear so many victims dwell on how terrible things are in life. And yes, what happened to me was terrible, but I now know that I'm a survivor. I've gone on. Right. I'm gonna work.
I think she has a lot more confidence in who she is, and I'm proud that she showed what she had in her.
For about 2 months after the rape, I was terrified to be in a house in the evening by myself. But I think more than anything, telling the story is very purging. It gets all of it out.
Dogs.
I feel sorry for rape victims who can't tell people what has happened to them. If you hold it in, it just eats away at you. But if you can tell it and get it out, you can then go on with your life.
Ducks are so cute.
Next. Teresa was kind of diddy-bopping ahead of us. As she rounded the trees, I heard a rattle.
This is one where the dog gets attacked by a snake defending the kid. That sounded kind of funny. Dog attacked by a snake defending a kid. It's supposed to be
mid-sized Dodge Dakota
dog
with an optional
protects
230
kid from
horsepower
snake.
Magnum V8 outpowers, outhauls, and just plain outpulls even full-size 5-liter V8s from Ford and Chevy. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere. Now, get up to $750 cash back on new Dodge Dakota.
I like all these old car commercials.
One of the biggest successes in weight loss history just happened in the little town of Pound, Wisconsin.
I lost 15 pounds, and people say, wow, I lost 20
15
pounds.
pounds
and I
in
feel
Pound,
great.
Wisconsin.
In just 12 weeks, they lost over 2,500 pounds on the Ultra Slim Fast plan. A delicious shake for breakfast, another for lunch, and a sensible dinner.
I got more get up and go.
But I didn't even feel like I was on a diet.
Slim Fast is the only diet that ever worked for me.
Now, for a limited time, buy one and get one free. Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week, we'll take off the weight.
Give us a week, we'll take off the weight.
For any kind of sinus pain, pressure, or congestion, even that caused by allergy, one name does it all. Sinutab from Park Davis. It's the #1 brand recommended by pharmacists. Sinutab, relief for prisoners of sinus suffering.
Release me and let me live again.
That's not what you told me to use last time.
Last year, doctors recommended Gyne-Lotrimin more than ever before.
Well, what about the product you used to give me?
Last year, Gyne-Lotrimin became the choice of more and more doctors. It cures yeast infections fast.
How fast is it?
Gyne-Lotrimin starts working on contact. Nothing you can buy works faster.
It must be good if you're recommending it.
Find out for yourself why Gyne-Lotrimin has become the choice of more and more doctors for a fast cure.
Think you have to live with those miserable headaches the rest of your life? Well, the relief you need is here. Watch our Stop the Pain series tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula
Breakfast
Zahn.
for your head.
Gomer, Goober, Aunt Bee, Opie, and Andy.
We got to nip it in the bud.
Now, 30 years later, they're reunited.
Andy!
Viewing Ron Howard's home movie and sharing great memories. The Andy Griffith Show reunion Wednesday on CBS.
Thinking of getting high? You better know what you're jumping into.
PSAs were all over the place in the 90s.
Sometimes those we least expect to step forward in a crisis are the ones who emerge
I remember
as
that
heroes.
this is your brain
That
on
was never
drugs,
more
and it
true
had
than
like
on
the
afternoon of
frying
September
pan and
7th,
the egg.
1992, as Laura Martinez gathered with family and friends for a Labor Day barbecue in a remote area near Loveland, Colorado.
Really? Difficult, isn't it? Difficult.
We have some property west of town, and we had planned a hot dog roast.
Hi, lady.
We had started putting out the food, the fire was going. It was just real festive. Everybody was having a great time. Everybody was real relaxed and just having a lot of fun.
Laura's mother, Oma Thompson, was helping with the cooking.
Lady is a lovable, gentle dog, but she's very, very lazy. She likes to be in the house. She doesn't like to go outside unless she absolutely has to, or unless we just push her out. Because she is overweight, we always make her walk with us. Well, as soon as we got down to the fire pit, she was out. She'd already done her exercise for the day, and she would be sleeping until it was time to leave.
Yeah, stay on this side so you don't get stuck.
Oma's other daughter, Sandra, was also at the picnic.
Audrey decided she needed to use the bathroom. Well, when she said she had to go, then everybody had to go.
Bob took David and he went across the creek to where the boys go to the bathroom. Then Oma took Rachel and Audrey by the hand and led them up to where we go.
There we go.
We started off
She has a
to the
New Kids on the
latrine
Block
area, and
shirt.
Teresa was kind of diddy-bopping ahead of us. As she rounded the trees, I heard a rattle, and I stopped. I am terrified of snakes. I don't even like to look at them. But I knew in my mind that something had to happen, and it had to happen quickly. Teresa was in danger.
Sandra, hurry! Come up here!
The
Lady
took
to the
off.
rescue.
She knew that she had to help.
When I saw Lady, she gave me the break that I needed. She attracted the snake's attention. At that point, I could instruct Teresa which way to go.
She saved Teresa's life. She risked her own life to save Teresa's. And I was just screaming for her to come back, and she wouldn't. She stayed, though, and fought the snakes until she felt that everyone was out of danger. Finally, she looked at me and kind of looked around, and then she came to me. She just kind of laid down and just kind of plopped. It wasn't a normal come and lay by my side reaction.
Did you find it?
I only thought we were dealing with one. And Oba had come up with the shovel, and he had gone up into the area where the snakes were. And I said to him, "Can you see them?" And he said, "Yes." My God, there's 5 of them up here.
Check right up there by her.
Oma and her son-in-law, Bob Martinez, found multiple snake bites on Lady.
Here's another one right here.
I was sitting there thinking, why Lady? You know, of all dogs, why Lady? But she done the ultimate sacrifice herself for my little girl, Teresa.
The kids were crying and wondering what was going on. Would they see Lady again? It was really hard.
A friend of mine's dog was killed by a rattlesnake, so it was probably good I was driving, because at least I had something to keep my mind off Lady.
By the time Laura got Lady to Colorado State University's veterinary teaching hospital, more than an hour had passed since she was bitten.
Here we go.
She was admitted under the care of veterinarian Lisa Mettelman.
Snake bite can be very dangerous, and depending on the type of snake, some snakes even more dangerous than others. The rattlesnakes that we have around here can be very dangerous.
This is Lady, and she's been bitten by a couple rattlesnakes.
The owners had told me what she had done for the children, and that was one of the first things I told everybody as we started working on her, is what she had done for the family and for the children, and everybody was quite impressed. And I don't know necessarily that she got special treatment, but I think everybody wished the best for her.
We have a seat here. Let me tell you a little bit about how Lady's doing.
When I talked to the family about Lady's condition, I was very upfront with them. I think it's very important to tell people what they can expect, and we did discuss the possibility that Lady might not make it.
Now, there are different ways to treat this, and one way is with anti-venom. It's like an antidote.
They gave me the option of whether I wanted to use the anti-venom, and the reason they do that is it's very expensive. And I just said, so my options are either euthanasia or go with the money, and I said, do what you have to do. She saved my little girl's life. She took the snake bite for her. I just started crying then because she was a hero. But they didn't know if she's going to live or die. Hi, guys. How are you? I was really sad and emotional, knowing I'd have to come home and tell the kids. So we went home, and the kids were crying, and I was crying. And they asked me if Lady was alive, and I said she was, but I go, Lady might die. They're really good doctors, and they gave Lady some special medicine. And hopefully she'll make it.
She'll be okay. I hugged Teresa, and she started crying, and I started crying with her, and I said, honey, if Lady dies, you can remember she protected you from dying.
The next morning about 9:30, I couldn't wait anymore. I called the hospital. I told them who I was. And they said, oh, she's doing great. She's responding really well.
Oh, wow.
That she was really sore, very bruised, but she would recuperate a lot better at home with everybody that she loved around her. So I was so excited. Bob and I were just ecstatic. I just started crying all over again. I was so happy.
Good girl.
Oh.
Good girl. We came to pick up Lady. Good. And she was just so happy to see us. It was like, oh, I thought you guys left me.
Recently, Lady took part in a very special ceremony.
Hi, Lady. We are here today to ask...
During the blessing of the animals for the Feast of St. Francis of Assisi, the minister, he invited Lady and all the family up to the altar, and she just sat there as proud as punch. Didn't make any move whatsoever. She just kind of sat there and said, here I am.
Now, won't you please join me as we ask God...
I've learned that it's not a cliche that dogs are man's best friend. Lady is certainly ours.
Lady's like a hero because she saved my life. And I think Lady's the best dog in the whole wide world.
She's like, y'all can
really
give me back.
don't know what would have happened if Lady hadn't come in. She needed to be there to take care of us.
Of course, they
And
shake the water everywhere.
Today she's just a lady
Maybe get
again.
zoomies.
She's great. She's still lazy.
Now, my dogs, when they get a bath, they
And she
shake
still just
everywhere.
sleeps most of the
And they
time.
get the
That's the
zoomies.
story.
Next,
Andrea kind of looked at me and said, do you think that we can scale the wall? And I thought that'd be cool, you know.
This is the plan for the B-2 bomber. This is the structure of DNA. This is a long-distance calling plan. What do they all have in common? You can't understand any one of them. Fortunately, Sprint can decipher long distance for you. With priority service, they'll review your account and let you know if you're on the right plan. It's that easy. And this is how you call Sprint.
I remember the pin drop.
When we at Nissan saw Lexus do a test like this to show how well their car is put together, we were very impressed.
Hey, they're doing that ball bearing thing.
So we decided to try it on the new $13,000 Nissan Altima. You can imagine how pleased we were when our car's tolerances tested as accurately as theirs.
Not bad.
The new Nissan Altima. It's time to expect more from a car.
Rescue 911 will continue.
Friday uncovered the naked truth of Julia's past on an all-new Designing Women. Then, 40 years ago, he blacklisted Bob. Now, Bob's striking back.
Can I help you?
You want us to hold him down for you, Bob?
And it's a Valentine surprise
Cupid shot Jimmy.
that could only happen behind picket fences. All new Friday.
When a medicine show comes to town with a miracle cure, can Dr. Quinn expose a deadly fraud?
I remember that show.
It hurts them.
Robert Culp guest stars Dr. Quinn Saturday.
This is CBS.
Acadiana is crisscrossed by bayous and rivers. Waterways affect our lives in many different ways. The recent flooding in Lafayette raises new questions about river stages, especially after a heavy rain. Hello, Acadiana. I'm Dick Farrow. Every day, Rob Perillo and I give you the current river stages. All this week, you'll see 2 reports a day explaining what makes water levels rise and fall and how these levels are monitored. Join us for a look at river
The station's
stages
out of
tonight on
Louisiana.
TV10 Eyewitness News.
Saturday night, February 20th, live at the Cajun Dome. George Jones.
I don't need your rocking chair.
The legendary George Jones, live in concert with special guests John Anderson and Tracy Lawrence. Don't wait. Get your tickets now at the Cajun Dome box office and all Ticketmaster locations. Or charge by phone. Pick up your Redman $3 discount coupon at participating Adrian supermarkets. George Jones with John Anderson and Tracy Lawrence. A Pinnacle production, part of the Redman Country Concert Series.
New numbers every Saturday night at 9:59 on TV 10, your official Lotto station.
On April 10th, 1992, 16-year-old Andrea Jones and her best friend Rachel Coates were enjoying their last night of spring vacation in the resort town of Gulf Shores, Alabama. Andrea's parents had
I've been
set a
there
midnight
many
curfew,
times
so
in my
around
youth.
11:45, the two girls returned to their family's rented condo.
So I spent a good portion of my childhood in Alabama. North and South Alabama.
That night, we met some teenage guys, and they were really nice, and they ended up inviting us to their condo later on. So we knew that we wanted to sneak out.
No, I don't. Sorry. I can change.
I heard the girls come in. I went to the room, and they were both undressing. At least I thought they were.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm tired.
We just pretended we were getting ready for bed and stuff.
Oh, no.
We've got to meet them.
Okay, but how are we going to get out? I mean, we can't go out the front door because Mom will hear us.
You don't think she'll hear us, do you?
Yeah, she could hear a pin drop.
Great. We have to meet them.
Oh, I know.
Hey, I know. Andrea kind of looked at me and said, do you think that we can scale the wall? And instantly I thought that, that'd be cool, because Andrea and I never did anything really exciting or, like, rebellious.
not.
Not as hard as it looks. I wanted to go before Andrea because I was taller, and I thought I can probably touch the balcony first and make sure that everything's safe.
Spoiler alert, it's not.
Come on, I'll help you. Going to fried chicken out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Kristen Kuhn and her girlfriends were also renting a vacation condo.
We saw some feet coming down the balcony and were surprised. I mean, you're not expecting to see somebody climbing down your balcony.
No, you're not. I've been like, am I seeing things at that point?
Okay, not one leg. Yeah. Don't wiggle so much. I can't hold on to you when you're wiggling. Andrea, stop kicking. Grab me. I can't hold on to you.
Reminding me to stand.
Grab me. I'm slipping.
When she hit, it was like she had no bones in her body. I wanted to jump right down after her. I never felt so alone in my whole life.
I went to the balcony edge and saw her lying there in a kind of twisted sort of way. I was just scared. I was thinking I can't be seeing somebody die right before my eyes.
A call for help sent rescue units to the scene, including paramedic Charles Ingram.
When I'd heard this person had fallen from 4 floors, we immediately requested a helicopter before we even left the station here. I didn't expect this person to be alive. I expected him to be a DOA when we got there.
When we continue,
Words can't describe what it's like to see your child suffering. And all I kept thinking was please God,
take care of her, and keep her alive.
There's only one refrigerator guaranteed to keep running and running for your money back. The Maytag refrigerator. The only refrigerator with a 10-year money-back guarantee.
Maytag.
The only refrigerator built like a Maytag. Catch it at a Maytag dealer near you. Maytag, the dependability people.
WD brand beef is raised in the West, but it's fluent in a lot of languages.
I remember Winn-Dixie too.
WD brand beef from Winn-Dixie, the beef people.
The beef people.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime. For relief without alcohol. Hit the box, not the bottle.
This is crazy. This is crazy. 2 pizzas, 2 free Crazy Breads, 2 free soft drinks, all for $7.98 at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Young, rich, let me see, and smart. Just look at the car.
Well, he didn't get where he is by throwing his money away.
At $78.48, the Toyota Tercel has a standard driver's side airbag, and it's the lowest priced two-door sedan you can buy.
Here comes his broker.
Maybe it's his agent.
Excuse me. Is that your car?
Sure is.
Well, it's blocking my driveway.
I think he's complimenting him on his unpretentiousness.
No, he's just fussing at him for parking in the wrong
It
place.
started as an innocent lunch with a coworker. Then he became obsessed.
What about dinner Saturday night?
I just really don't think it's a good idea.
No one would help her
Oh, God, you're lovely.
This is a man on the edge. I refuse to be his victim.
until it was too late. Richard Thomas, Brooke Shields, based on the true story of the stalking of Laura Black. Next. 40 years ago, he tried to blacklist Bob. Friday, Bob strikes back.
Can I help you?
You want us to hold him down for you, Bob?
An all-new Bob, Friday.
When 16-year-old Andrea Jones fell from a fourth-floor condo balcony, witnesses rushed to her aid. But there was little anyone could do except encourage her to keep fighting to stay alive until help could arrive.
Excuse me, guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Her head was tilted to the side. There was blood coming from behind her ear, and her eyes were bulging out of her head. It was like a horror movie right in front of my eyes, and I just couldn't believe it was real.
Can you hear me?
I thought that she was dead, and it hurt a lot to think about her parents, and how was I going to explain this, you know? We did this for a bunch of guys.
Hold tight. Paramedics are going to be here soon.
Within 5 minutes of the call, the Gulf Shores Fire Department arrived, led by paramedic Corporal Mitchell Sims.
Turn this up a little bit. The audio kind of got messed up.
Hear me at all? Time is so critical with a trauma patient because with the brain swelling from the injury, there can be irreversible brain damage. Okay, we got a pressure of 90. Let's go ahead and set it.
Andrea's parents, Kathy and Jerry Jones, rushed down to the scene as soon as they were told about the accident.
Words can't describe what it's like to see your child suffering and in pain the way she was suffering. And all I kept thinking was please, God, take care of her and keep her alive.
We're going to move this off over, okay? We're going to get on this side over here, buddy. Andrea, be still. Be still. Hold still.
There was a lot of confusion going on, and I remember thinking, where's Rachel? There was nothing I could do for Andrea, and I felt that someone that Rachel knew needed to be with her.
Oh, Rachel.
And tried to help her get through what obviously had been a horrendous thing for her to witness.
Deep in my heart, I did not believe this girl was going to make it. I looked at one of the guys on the ambulance and told him that her mother's heart was probably going to be broken tonight.
Andrea was taken by Life Flight helicopter to Baptist Hospital, where a trauma team awaited her arrival, led by emergency physician James Leekert.
Apparently, she landed right on her head. And that kind of impact is an incredible force, and my initial thoughts were, well, this is a young 16-year-old who won't go back home.
She's got some lacerations on the back. Donna, I want to intubate this lady.
Among those treating Andrea was emergency nurse Donna Russell.
She was doing what we call posturing, which is indicative of brain damage.
Protect your airway. We got to go.
Very rarely do people with this kind of an injury survive. And in our hearts, we felt she was going to die.
Complete x-rays and a CAT scan were taken.
I was amazed. It looked like the only injury that she had was her head. I was also very discouraged because her head injury did appear to be quite severe.
Over the next 12 hours, Andrea's condition deteriorated as her brain continued to swell. In an effort to relieve the pressure on her brain, doctors decided to perform an unusual emergency procedure and remove part of her skull.
This was a last-ditch effort. The chances of survival in a person that has this degree of injury, very, very, very small.
It may sound silly, but I just kept thinking, fix her up and I'm going to take her home. It wasn't until one of the doctors said, I don't want to have to ask you this question, but I'm required by law. And he said, I may come back to you at a later point in time and ask you if you'd be willing to donate any of your daughter's organs. And it wasn't until then that I realized how serious Andrea was and that she could die.
If was an awfully big word at that time. If she survived, to what? And unfortunately, we use some harsh terminology in the medical profession, and we do. We call them vegetables. They lay there. You sprinkle them. You feed them. They grow. You hurt for the patient. You hurt for the family. She's going to have some tubes inside.
Okay. We followed the nurse into Andrea's room. And we saw her laying in bed, and she was laying perfectly still.
Andrea.
All I kept thinking about was, please wake up so that I can talk to you again.
Andrea remained in a coma for a week.
On Easter Sunday, one of her nurses came up to us and said, I think I have the best Easter gift I could ever give you. We walked into her room, and they had her sitting up in a chair. Shortly thereafter, she was walking down the halls, joking with the nurses, complaining about the food.
In the 6 months since the accident, Andrea's friend Rachel has struggled to come to grips with what happened that night.
Rachel feels so guilty right now, and that's why she stays away a little bit. It's been hard for me, even now, to deal with everything. We're not as close as we used to be. I wish that we were. If I could take back that day, I'd give everything I own to have things back the way they were.
I didn't become queen, homecoming queen. This is I'm apple queen.
I really want to be her friend so much again, you know. And I think she needs me as a friend again to let her know that I am okay. I've learned to think before I do things, because you're hurting people that really do love you. You're hurting them and you're hurting yourself, and you're missing life.
Super miracle that she's with us. I want to thank the people that gave their prayers and best wishes to us. I just want to thank them all.
I'm glad you're okay. Oh, God. I would have bet $1 million that she would have been lying in a bed for the rest of her life, a vegetable. And now to see her today, cheerleading and talking and walking, it's just wonderful.
Here we go.
very lucky lady to have my daughter back with me. Every day I cherish that I can see her, and I can talk to her, and know that she is still part of our family.
Look good now. Smile for Dad now. Oh, I know. I'm a Gort. Yeah, here it is.
Gotcha.